In this video, I'm going to show you how you can find opinion or editorial pieces from the Buxton Library. To start, we're going to go to the library's homepage and on the left, select databases. This brings up an A to Z listing of all the databases that we subscribe to. And I'm going to select O because I want to show you Opposing Viewpoints. Opposing Viewpoints is a database that's specifically designed for finding opinion pieces. So you can either type in a search here of interest to you, or scroll down and select from some of the available categories. I'm going to select ownership of exotic animals as my category. And it will start out by giving me sort of a brief encyclopedic type of entry at the top. But if you scroll down a little bit further below, you can see in this section that there are specific types of articles that it's linking you to. And we want to take a look at the featured viewpoints. These are all opinion pieces that have been published in a variety of magazines and newspapers. When I get there, I can find one that is of interest. It gives you helpful information just below the title, like the date and how long the essay is. When I find one that's interesting, I simply click on it to read it. And when I get there, nicely with Opposing Viewpoints, it kind of gives you some ideas to think about as you're reading through the article. You can also listen to it if you like. At the top, there's a citation feature if you need to grab an MLA-style citation for the article for your project. Next, let's navigate back to the library homepage again, and I'm going to demonstrate how you can use the OneSearch discovery product to find additional newspapers and other articles on a topic of interest. I'm going to just paste in here my topic. I want to point out how I've constructed my search. So here is my topic. I'm interested in finding opinion pieces on sports betting. And then notice that I have the words opinion or commentary or editorial spelled out in parentheses. And that's because I'm telling the OneSearch to basically do almost like a mathematical computation where I'm wanting it to look for all of the articles that have those words in it first. And then of the results that it finds, it only retrieves for me those articles that also have the word sports betting somewhere in them. So let's see how this works out for us. Once I click on the search button, it's going to go out and retrieve everything from the over 100 plus databases that we subscribe to. So you can see that gives us quite a few results. We've got a little over 10,000 results, which is a few too many. We're going to narrow a little bit by using the filters on the left. So I'm going to select that I want only items available online. And I'm going to also limit it by publication date. So I want to see things that have been published just in the last 5 years, because the sports betting has changed a lot just in the last few years too. And I also want to limit to a resource type. And in this case, I'm going to limit it to magazine articles because that tends to be where these types of opinion pieces are often published. So now I have a much nicer, smaller group of results, only 61. The OneSearch will always display 10 results at a time. So when you get to the bottom of your 10 results, you can then click down below to move on through the rest of the results that are there. And when you find an article that's of interest, like this one sounds kind of interesting, I'm going to go ahead and click on it to select it. If I scroll down a little bit, I can read a little bit more detail about it. So who the author is, where it was published. This was published in Newsweek magazine in April of 2023. And then it has a very helpful summary here, which I can use to determine if it's worth my while to go ahead and click on the link above to actually access the full text content. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the article itself. And when I get there, I can read the article. Here's my summary again. And if I scroll down, I can read a little bit more. Notice, as we saw in Opposing Viewpoints, you also have a handy citation feature here. So you could grab your MLA style citation, or you could choose a different citation type, depending on what your instructor requires. One more thing about the OneSearch that you could try. We looked at articles appearing in magazines that were on this topic. But if you noticed at the very bottom, there was actually a link for a newspaper search. So once you get to the bottom of your first page of results, you can always try using the newspaper search. And then what it does is it reconstructs your search, but only looking through newspapers. So this is newspapers in the US and also abroad. But newspapers are a publication that often produce editorials or commentary pages. So they're a good place to go for this. So if I'm interested, I could then go into another one that maybe would be useful. Here it looks like my dates got changed, my filters for the dates got changed. So I could always refine those again. I'm going to go back again to my last 5 years. And then I could pull up an article here that might be of use. So this one is from the New York Times about sports betting scandals. And I'm going to open that up and let's see. This one, newspaper articles, doesn't give you usually much of a summary. So again, I'm going to access the content from the database where it lives. And then I can read through that article as we showed before. Reach out if you have any questions or if you're struggling to find an opinion piece on your topic. And good luck with your project.